On the news, the federal government denies scrapping junior secondary and senior secondary schools in Nigeria. NAFDAC seeks death penalty for drug peddlers. And INEC proposes creation of special court for electoral offenders. It's a pleasure to have you join News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Joy Uchejim. The Nigerian government has clarified that it has not scrapped junior secondary school and senior secondary school, but has proposed a 12-year uninterrupted basic education model. According to a statement by the Director of Press at the Federal Ministry of Education, Folashade Boriowo, the proposal was presented by the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, during an extraordinary National Council on Education meeting in Abuja. The ministry emphasized that the proposal is still under consultation and aims to retain the current 633 structure while eliminating barriers between JSS and SSS for a seamless transition of students without external assessments at that stage. The ministry further said that the final decision on adopting the reform will be made at the October 2025 National Council on Education meeting and urged the public to disregard false reports suggesting that JSS and SS have been abolished. And the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has called for the death penalty for drug peddlers in Nigeria, particularly those whose actions lead to the death of children. The Director General of NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, made the appeal during an interview on Friday. Citing alarming cases, she revealed instances of falsified medicines, including a children's drug that contained no active ingredient, leading her to advocate for harsher penalties. She also highlighted the inadequacies of current penalties, such as light prison sentences or fines, which fail to discourage repeat offenders. The NAFDAC boss called on the judiciary and the National Assembly to support the implementation of stricter measures, including life-threatening penalties, to combat the circulation of substandard and falsified medicines. Now, joining me to discuss NAFDAC's call for the death penalty for drug peddlers in the country is legal expert Evans Ofeli. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, what is your take on this proposal by NAFDAC, and what are the current penalties for drug peddling under the Nigerian law?
Well, I agree with NAFDAC on the issue of making the punishment more severe for those who are offenders or those who have been found guilty for drug peddling or fake drugs production, because the end result of fake drug production and distribution across the country is that those who consume those drugs, their situation either get worsened or they die in the process. So those who now are involved in this illicit act must be properly dealt with. As we speak now, the penalty for this offense ranges between 7 to 4 years, which is nothing to write home about, given the level of calamity they create when these drugs are consumed. Okay, but the truth is that if we entrench this further, you now discover that when these persons produce this drug, apart from those who manufacture, there are those who distribute it. And apart from those who distribute it across the country, there are those who retail it. Okay, so this is all a criminal conspiracy, okay, to inflict harm in the country at large. So I agree, let's have a stiffer penalty, because the jurisprudence of criminal law is that when an act or an omission assumes a dangerous proportion in a country, the state will move to criminalize it. If it's already criminalized, the state will move to increase the term of penalty to deter others from, doing that. So here, death sentence is not bad. I mean, it's okay. But the next question you ask yourself is that those who have been convicted to die by hanging in Nigeria, those who are involved in armed robbery and the rest of that, are they really put to death? Because one, we don't have a hangman in Nigeria. Two, the governors of the states, various states in Nigeria, they are not signing death warrants. So at the end of the day, you dump them at the prison and increase congestion. So the Nigerian problem is multifaceted. It's not enough to make other offenses, custodian offenses and death penalty offenses. Not enough to do that. If you do that, do you have the willpower to put them to actual death when the time comes?
So adding to that, would implementing the death penalty for drug peddlers require an amendment to existing laws, or can it be enacted through new legislation?
Either ways, you can. The criminal laws of the country can be amended. You have the criminal code and the penal code for the North and the South, respectively. Those laws can be amended. The National Assembly itself can come up with a fresh law on just drugs, okay, that specific one, and have that penalty there, in which case that penalty will now repeal the old law. Okay, so there must be a wholesome process in which you bring this into existence. The long time effect of this, or the general idea, will be that people are reasonably deterred from going into illicit acts of that nature, which is capable of, causing serious chaos in the civil society of the state of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and input, legal expert Evans Ufeli. And now, moving on, the Trade Union Congress has threatened to embark on a strike action if the Nigerian government does not reverse its recent approval of a 50% increase in telecommunications tariffs. Following a National Administrative Council meeting, the union condemned the tariff hike as ill-timed and an act of economic oppression against Nigerians. TUC President Festus Osifo, who made this known, says the union's National Executive Council would set the date for action after further consultations.
There must be meaningful engagement to explore alternatives and ensure that any policy adjustments are fair, sustainable, and do not further burden already struggling citizens. The need for consultations with critical stakeholders before implementing policies affecting the masses. We have observed with contestation that government has been very reluctant and intentional in not engaging organized labor before policies are implemented. Effective policy making requires inclusive consultation with critical stakeholders before implementation, especially when policies impact the general public. Engaging labor unions, civil society organizations, industry experts, and community representatives ensure that policies are well informed, balanced, and widely accepted. The NAC, on behalf of the Congress, strongly advises the government to refrain from introducing policies that will further exacerbate the current economic hardship faced by hardworking Nigerians. If the administration insists on implementing these policies, the TUC will have no choice but to mobilize the working class, civil society, and the oppressed masses for a nationwide action. This level of exploitation is unacceptable.
And Nigeria's House of Representatives has endorsed President Bola Tinubu's proposal to increase the 2025 budget from 49.7 trillion naira to 54.2 trillion naira, citing additional revenue generated by key government agencies. The revised budget includes contributions of 1.4 trillion naira from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, 1.2 trillion naira from the Nigeria Customs Service, and 1.8 trillion naira from other government-owned agencies. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the House Deputy Spokesman, Honorable Philip Agbese, expressed the legislature's readiness to support the president in delivering economic growth and improving the lives of Nigerians. He also highlighted the proposal's focus on critical sectors such as agriculture, which is set to benefit from increased funding for the Bank of Agriculture to empower farmers, boost rural development, and enhance food security. And in other stories, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has described the late Dr. Akinsanya Sani Ajose as a paragon of integrity and diligence, emphasizing that his commitment to excellence was evident throughout his remarkable career. Ajose, a former head of service in Lagos State and a respected chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, died on Thursday, January 16, 2025, at the age of 78. The governor, who was represented by his wife, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, gave the tribute on Thursday during the unveiling of Dr. Ajose's biography, The Sunny Side of Ajose, at a special event in Ikeja, Lagos. This report by TV360's Okpeyemi Wosheni provides more details.
The public presentation of the biography of Dr. Akinsanya Sani Ajose, former Lagos State Head of Service and member of the Governor's Advisory Council, was both a celebration of life and a profound moment of reflection. The event, held as part of activities marking his burial, brought together dignitaries from across Lagos State and beyond. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by his wife Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, lauded Dr. Ajose for his exceptional contributions to the development of Badagry, Lagos State, and the nation at large.
Despite the fact that we have different storms of life, different situations during our work life, he was always there to give positive encouragement. Example, the salary, very poor, but he was there to give positive encouragement. A civil servant making mistakes in front of his boss, he was there to give positive encouragement.
He was very diligent, very hardworking, and simple, and very sometimes difficult to read him. And he was gentle but firm.
The Lagos State Head of Service, Olabode Agoro, also delivered a artful speech urging civil servants to emulate late Dr. Ajose's legacy of selfless service and excellence as chronicled in his biography.
It is on record that Chief Sani Ajose was trustworthy, dependable, steadfast and courageous throughout his tour of service in the Lagos State Public Service. His significant contribution to the development of the state public service and Lagos State as a whole will never be forgotten.
Through this book, we are given a glimpse into the journey that shaped him, the challenges he overcame, and the contributions he made to society. His story serves as a guiding light for all of us, reminding us that success is not measured by personal achievements alone, but even more so by the impact we have on others.
The event saw the book launch of The Sunny Side of Ajose, which portrayed the life of the late doctor. The chairman of the occasion and former Lagos State Head of Service, Josephine Oluseyi Williams, echoed similar sentiment, emphasizing the enduring lessons from Dr. Ajose's life.
Though his voice is now an echo in memory, his story remains preserved in these pages, in the reforms he instituted, in the lives he shaped, and in the Lagos he helped to build. And so, even as we mourn the absence of the man, we celebrate the immortality of his deeds. Let this book stand as both a testament and a torch, a lighthouse for those who would walk the noble path of public service with integrity, vision, and unflinching dedication.
Other dignitaries at the event noted that his legacy remains an indelible mark on the Lagos State Public Service, offering timeless lessons for future generations. Okpeyemi Wosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
And in security matters, as part of efforts to combat cybercrime and financial fraud, the Nigeria Police Force says it has arrested 84 suspects in January 2025 alone. Of these arrests, 32 were made by the NPF National Cybercrime Center, while 52 suspects were apprehended by the Police Special Fraud Unit in Lagos. Among the key arrests are members of a two-man syndicate involved in creating and distributing compromised financial accounts for fraudulent transactions exceeding 400 million naira. Force Public Relations Officer Olumiyiwa Adejobi attributed these achievements to the action plan of the Inspector General of Police, designed to restore Nigeria's global reputation and address the Financial Action Task Force grey list concerns.
We have strong conviction that our efforts so far will definitely redeem the image of this country, our home their nation called Nigeria. We have a total of 9 suspects apprehended for various cyber-related offenses. Nigeria Police Force cautions against the inappropriate use of social media for the perpetration of crimes such as fraud, defamation, and cyber stalking. The force remains committed to identifying and curtailing cyber criminals and syndicates, assuring that those involved in cyber-related crimes face the full weight of the law. Members of the public are advised to exercise extreme caution when engaging in online transactions and ensure adequate verification of the legitimacy of operators before conducting large financial dealings.
There is this WhatsApp group that we buy Facebook from. We buy Facebook and TikTok, then we sell to our customers. The Facebook is that when we buy for the platform, most of them, they come with followers, they come with 0 followers. Then we used to be the one to boost the account for the person to buy. So that is the way we used to do it. When we buy, we sell to our customers.
How much do you say?
Depends. Some Facebook is empty. We used to sell some 1.5. We used to sell some 15,000, 5,000. Depends on the followers.
For a crime of creating profile, like I say, I met some people online and asked me that I should help him create 3 profiles for Yusuf Umar, who will continue the verification of the account. But before the creation of the profiles, he first asked me to hand over my money for an account to him, and I did. And after some times, he contacted me to help Yusuf Umar create, or to create 3 profiles for him. Only 3 profiles I did create.
We'll go on a short break here, but still to come, Plane with 10 goes missing in the U.S. Details of this story after this break. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Nigerian government has clarified that it has not scrapped junior secondary schools and senior secondary schools, but has proposed a 12-year uninterrupted basic education model. The ministry added that the final decision on adopting the reform will be made at the October 2025 National Council on Education meeting and urged the public to disregard false reports suggesting that JSS and SSS have been abolished. We also informed you that the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has called for the death penalty for drug peddlers, particularly those whose actions led to the death of children. Citing alarming cases, the Director General of NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, revealed instances of falsified medicines, including a children's drug that contained no active ingredients, leading her to advocate for harsher penalties. And in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and ABO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. It's now time for business news. Okpeyemi Owusheni is on standby. What's the latest, Okpe?
Well, Joy, the House of Representatives has directed the Nigerian government to halt all divestment processes by international oil companies such as Shell and Total Energies under their environmental and social liabilities to host communities are fully addressed. Lawmakers also mandated that no divestment should be proceed without transparent consultations with Niger Delta communities and state government. The directive follows a motion by Minority Leader Honorable Kingsley Chinda, who called on the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission to enforce compliance with the Petroleum Industry Act. The House further urged the creation of an environmental restoration fund financed by the IOCS to tackle the estimated $100 billion in damages highlighted by the United Nations Environment Programme.
The Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission has rejected Shell's divestment application, citing failure to address environmental liabilities and concerns about the capacity of the Renaissance Consortium to manage the assets effectively. The House is also aware that past divestment by IOCs, such as Shell's sale of assets to Nembe to Aleto, ExxonMobil's transfer and ENI Ajib's sale to Oando have left communities with unresolved pollution, worsened environmental degradation, and increased social unrest. The House further notes that the Nigerian government has a duty to protect the rights and welfare of its citizens, particularly those in the Niger Delta who have borne the brunt of environmental and social harm from oil extraction. The House is concerned that approving Shell and Total Energies divestment request without addressing these historical and ongoing liabilities risks undermining Nigeria's regulatory independence, transferring corporate responsibilities to the Nigerian state, and signaling impunity for environmental crimes.
The House is concerned that Nigeria suffers economic losses of approximately 15 trillion naira annually due to counterfeit and substandard goods, as reported by the Standards Organization of Nigeria. The unchecked proliferation of fake products not only jeopardizes consumer safety, but also discourages genuine investment in the food and pharmaceuticals industries. The House is further concerned that despite existing regulations, weak enforcement mechanisms, corruption, and the absence of stringent penalties for offenders have emboldened perpetrators to continue endangering public health.
We'll take a break now and be back with updates from the stock market. Welcome back. It's been a rollercoaster week on the Nigerian equities market, and the excitement just keeps building. With 5 consecutive days of gains, the market wrapped up the week on a high note, jumping 0.48% on the final day of trading. And guess what? The market capitalization has rocketed to an impressive 65 trillion naira. Talk about a market on fire. Now, in total, a lively 127 listed equities took part in the trading frenzy, with 40 stocks dancing their ways to the gains, while 19 struggle to keep up with the market's orbit tempo. Cadbury Nigeria is on a winning streak, leading the chart for the second day in a row with a sparkling 9.93% surge in its share price, closing at 29 naira 35 kobo per share. Not far behind, we see Academy Press following closely, adding to the day's exciting market moves. Talk about consistency and some serious market momentum. Now, on the final trading day of the week at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a whopping 381 million shares exchanged hands across 12,793 deals, with a market value hitting 9 billion naira. Today's trading numbers took a bit of a step back compared to Thursday, February 6th, with a 29% drop in volume, a 60% dip in turnover, and a 17% decrease in the number of deals. Globally, the mood was a bit gloomy, with all our major indices, that's the UK FTSE, the US Dow Jones, and Japan's Nikkei taking a dip and wrapping up the day on a bearish note. It's like the global market hit the pause button while the Nigerian market held its ground. Now, in the foreign exchange market, the Naira experienced one of its strongest recoveries in recent months at the black market, as the Naira traded at 1,565 Naira to the dollar, 1,980 naira to the GBP, and 1,630 naira to the euro. That's up our business and stock market report. Over to you, Joy, for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Akbayemi. And on the foreign scene, crews in Alaska, United States, have been searching for a small commercial plane that went missing with 10 persons on board. According to Alaska State Police, the Boeing Air Caravan carrying 9 passengers and 1 pilot was reported overdue on Thursday after its flight from Unalakleet to Nome, which was scheduled for 4 p.m. local time. Nome's volunteer fire department disclosed the pilot had informed Anchorage Air Traffic Control that they planned to enter a holding pattern while waiting for the runway to be cleared, but the plane then disappeared from radar. The department also confirmed that the U.S. Coast Guard had deployed a C-130 aircraft to assist ground crews in the search for the missing plane. Meanwhile, the International Criminal Court has condemned Donald Trump for imposing sanctions on its staff, which it said were intended to harm vital work to investigate the world's gravest atrocities, including crimes against humanity and genocide. The U.S. president had signed an executive order on Thursday authorizing aggressive economic sanctions against the ICC and travel bans on its staff, accusing the body of illegitimate and baseless actions targeting the U.S. and its ally, Israel. Trump's order cited an ICC-issued arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu for alleged war crimes relating to the Gaza war as the reason for the decision. Responding on Friday, the ICC called on its member states to stand up against sanctions, describing Washington's move as an attempt to harm its independent and impartial judicial work. And on sport, Nigeria Super Eagles stars will fly directly to Kigali, Rwanda from their respective bases for the crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against the Amavubi of Rwanda. The Super Eagles are scheduled to open camp for the encounter in Kigali on Sunday, March 16th. The national team are yet to record a win in the qualifiers, with 3 draws and 1 defeat. Rwanda will host the 3-time African champions in a matchday 5 encounter at the Amahoro Stadium, Kigali, on Friday, March 21. And former Manchester United player Paul Parker has warned his old club against re-signing their former player Paul Pogba. Parker believes bringing Pogba back to the Red Devils will be a regressive step for the Premier League club. He, however, urged Ruben Amorim's side to focus on recruiting players with the right mentality instead. Pogba is set to return to football in March after his 4-year doping ban was reduced to 18 months. The 31-year-old is now a free agent after his contract with Juventus was terminated. And that's our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Joy Ucheje. See you next time.